Wizards going to make Wish a thing in Commander? Currently in Commander, the only way to bring a card from outside the game into the current game is with cards with Companion. So cards like Wish that can bring other cards from outside the game into the current one do not work currently with the way Commander is written. I have a crazy little tinfoil hat theory that this might change soon. We already know the release schedule for next year, and we know that we're going back to Strixhaven. The last time we were in Strixhaven, we had the Learn mechanic, which could let you bring a lesson card from outside the game into the current one, or just draw a card and discard a card. Currently, the only thing you can do with Learn in Commander is just draw a card and discard a card. You can't bring a lesson from outside the game into the current one. Now, what I found interesting is that in the upcoming Avatar set, they're bringing lessons back, but they haven't shown anything for Learn. So we're going to have all these new lessons that are coming into the game. Now, I believe that for years, Wizards have been trying to convince the Rules Committee to change the rules to how things from outside the game could be brought into the current one, and Companion was their first successful attempt. And that they might have tried to convince the Rules Committee with Learn, but they weren't successful with that one. And it's also something that a lot of players have kind of been wanting for years, at least for Wishboard. And even a lot of players don't realize that cards like this don't work in a game of Commander. And I also think that Karn the Great Creator might have been one reason why Wishboards was never a thing, because he would just be in every single deck. And having a ubiquitous one card lock in a deck could be a knock against it. But perhaps the introduction of the Game Changers list is one way to make it a little bit less ubiquitous. So I have a small theory that by sometime next year, they're going to have changed the rules on how things are brought in from outside the game into the current one for Commander. Now that Wizards has control of the Commander format, they could change the rules to whatever they like. We saw them do this with Edge of Eternities, with Legendary Spacecraft and Legendary Vehicles becoming Commanders. I think them doing that for Edge of Eternities was a little bit of testing the waters to see if they're able to do that without too much backlash, and they might try to do the same thing for Strixhaven. Now, there's a few knocks to this theory here. As I mentioned before, Legendary Spacecraft and Legendary Vehicles being in Commander was a thing for Edge of Eternities, but they claimed that this was something that was already in the works for years. It wasn't just something that they just conjured up just to help sell the set. Another one is that Avatar: The Last Airbender may be bringing back lessons, but they might be taking a different approach by having cards that care about lessons in the game. So it could just be another approach for them to make lessons matter. And also, putting Karn the Great Creator on the Game Changers list could make it a little bit less ubiquitous in lower power format, but still in bracket 4 and bracket 5, you will probably see a Karn in every single list. Another one is that just because we're going back to Strixhaven doesn't mean that we're going to see returning mechanics. Now, what I think is most likely is that they're going to make some sort of variation to Learn and change the rules somehow to make those work with the games of Commander. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is just some crackpot theory, or do you think that this might be a possibility?